Hello. My presentation is within alternative energy, nuclear fusion. Some of the science concepts I'm going to be talking about is stellar nucleosynthesis and the potential nuclear fusion can be used as an energy source. Okay, why is this happening? Nuclear fusion is a process where two lightweight atomic nuclei combine to form a single heavier one while releasing huge amounts of energy. Fusion happens in solar bodies like our Sun, where the nuclei need to collide with each other at around 10 million degrees Celsius. The high temperatures of the Sun provide them with enough energy to overcome mutual electrical repulsion. Once the nuclei come close enough together, the attractive nuclear force between nuclei will cancel out the electrical repulsion and allow them to fuse. For this to occur, the nuclei have to be in a tight enough space to increase collision. The extreme pressure in solar bodies produced by their extreme gravity creates the conditions for fusion. The nuclei that the nuclei that this process uses are hydrogen atoms that become helium within the Sun's core. The process that occurs in the Sun's core is called stellar nucleosynthesis and is an exothermic reaction. The proton-proton reaction has the formula, as you can see on the screen. I don't want to read it out, it's kind of difficult. It is currently impossible to harness nuclear fusion as a source of energy, as it is extremely difficult to recreate the harsh conditions that occur in our Sun. Okay, who is benefiting? We all benefit from nuclear fusion. The nuclear fusion that happens in the Sun's core is very important to sustaining life on our planet. If the fusion reaction were to suddenly stop, the Sun would greatly diminish in size and it would turn into a white dwarf. This would cause large temperature drops, light and energy loss, and might even change Earth's orbit. While the impact wouldn't cause all life to cease, the decrease of light and temperature would slowly kill off many species. However, this whole process would take millions of years. The Sun is so big that even if it stops producing heat, it will take an extremely long time to actually cool off and start shrinking. At least that was what the general consensus of the answers that I found. Some people think the Sun would supernova or instantly freeze over in the vacuum of space, but those seem the more unlikely theoretical options. Though we won't know for sure unless it happens. Okay, the effects now and effects later. For the rest of this presentation, I will be more talking about using nuclear fusion as a potential energy source. The effects that would be caused by using this as an energy source now would be largely positive if we were able to accomplish nuclear fusion on Earth on a large enough scale to be sustainable. It would be the most environmentally friendly source of energy, and we would start to see the effects right away. Nuclear fusion does not produce CO2 emissions or any other harmful atmospheric emissions, which means it does not contribute to global warming. That means that we would no longer be eroding the ozone layer of our atmosphere. Also, nuclear fusion sources of fuel are much easier to find than that of fission. It does not produce nuclear waste like fission. The process is also much safer because fusion cannot cause power plant accidents. So overall, the effects would be very positive now and later. What institutions are hurting this issue? There are not any current institutions that are hurting the development of this potential energy source. We simply have not been able to develop the correct conditions for nuclear fusion on a large enough scale to be used for energy yet. Once the ability is developed, I really don't think there will be any organizations or people who will strongly oppose nuclear fusion because of the massive environmental and just general benefits that we would gain by switching to this energy source. Alternatives available now. The alternatives available now are ones that we recognize a lot. The first one is coal and gas, which are our most commonly used energy source right now. And while it does produce lots of energy for the world, and a lot of our factories and cars and everything are powered by that. Oh, and oil. I forgot to include that in the presentation. Um, they are very environmentally harmful. Um, and we will eventually run out of this resource, especially as our society develops and we start to need more and more um, energy for developing technologies and everything like that. It will eventually just peter out, I suppose. Okay, the next one is solar, wind, and water energy. I kind of grouped these together because they're all pretty similar. Um, Environmentally sourced, which means that they are a lot better than coal and gas for the environment. But there's really, I just realized I'm talking up my next slide. Um, um, it just requires so many materials and for like basic minimal production. Um, it does not create enough energy to really be sustainable as to use for our main energy source. And the last one on the list is nuclear fission, which we also use quite a bit for energy, but this comes with a whole load of problems as well, especially nuclear waste. We have nuclear waste dumping areas, which is very environmentally harmful. And then power plant accidents as well, like the very infamous power plant accident of Chernobyl. With nuclear fusion, that would not happen. The conditions would not allow that kind of thing to happen. Okay, so course of action to pursue. We should continue nuclear fusion development as it all the benefits would be extremely helpful for our society. Our environmental impact would go so much down, and we might even beat global warming. Um, and once this is achieved, we should be able to slowly switch to fusion as a main energy source instead of using coal or gas or fission. It would be just so much easier, and the materials are so much easier to get, and just the benefits are just astounding. This concludes my presentation. I hope it was pretty informative. It did run a bit long, so I apologize for that. Thank you for listening about nuclear fusion.